Georgia Tech, obviously, Coach Collins has done a nice job. They had two really impressive wins over Louisville and Florida State, and they've been in some really tight games. He brings a lot of energy. You can tell they played really hard. He's very detailed. You can see him from everything on the sideline to how they run around. He brings a lot of juice, and in his second year there, he's done a good job. You can already see the recruiting that he's done with some of the young freshmen that are stepping up, and they're doing a really good job. On the offense side of the ball, coach really well. They got two really, really good young players in the quarterback and the running back. Dynamic athletes. 21 is really fast and explosive. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. Coach Patnoid's done a really, really good job with them. Quarterback he can run it, he can throw it, and he's only a freshman. So again, a credit to Coach Collins for recruiting those guys and playing them early. And you can see they're getting better every single game. They have some pretty good receivers, number 1, number 2, number 15. Number 2 can fly. Probably one of the faster guys that we've seen on tape. Number 15's got some good size, and their O-line's solid. They do a lot. Like I said, they're really well coached. They'll spread you out. They'll run the football. They'll run the football with the running backs, the quarterbacks. They'll throw the ball down the field. They'll get the running backs involved in the pass game. So they've been pretty effective this year. And, I have a lot of respect for them on offense. On defense, again, really well coached. Their middle linebacker is a good player. I believe he's number 6. He's like the quarterback back there. They do a lot. They'll play some split zone safety and some middle close. They pressure, they overload. They got really good length in the back end, which I like. You look at those guys that are really big and long, and they play hard, and they cause a lot of issues with how much they do. So just watching some of that tape earlier on in the week, like the scheme overall, really a well-coached defense. Special teams, I know Coach Collins is involved with the special teams. Their punter's exceptional. You see him boot the ball. You see him throw the ball. You see him run sneaks, and you see him run fakes. So they do a lot. They'll surprise onside you. They keep you on your toes for sure. One of the better coached special teams groups that we've seen. I think the most important thing this week is for us to improve. Again, a ton of respect for Georgia Tech and their staff, but we need to get better. We need to take care of the fundamentals and the technique. We need to secure the football. We need to attack the football. We need to get off blocks. We need to tackle. And, I'm excited because I do believe if our offense continues to take these steps and we're more disciplined and we don't move ourselves backward, I'm excited to see us put together a full game. So with that, any questions you guys have?
Go ahead, Rich.
Coach, I was just looking at it. Says that Georgia Tech is last in the league in pass defense and pass efficiency. I'm sure those numbers were skewed by the Clemson game, but do sometimes stats say one thing and what you see tells you something completely different?
Yeah, Rich, especially this early in a season, right? Where one game, you take the Clemson game, for example. I'm sure statistically before the Clemson game, it looked way different. And then, Clemson scored a lot of points and had a lot of yards. So you try not to get caught up in that. You try to watch the film and see what they look like and base it off what the tape looks like. Certainly towards the end of the year, the stats, when they're all compiled up and there's a lot more football, they're telling. But right now, I'll glance at them, Rich, see what they say, and then I'll watch the film to see if it ties in together. But you don't look at this team and think that at all.
Go to Julian.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Julian, how you doing?
Live and kicking. I was just curious. I was wondering, how much did Kobe going down kind of change whatever plans you might have had for the receiving group, passing game, and how you wanted to use different guys and maybe see who emerged, you know what I mean, whether it was Jalen or Jelani?
That's a really good question, Julian. Last night, actually, before I headed out, today's Kobe's birthday, so it was on my desk, Kobe's birthday, so I went downstairs and I was talking to Coach Signetti in the film room, and I brought up Kobe, and we talked about how much we miss him. And because if you look right now, he's the one guy that's had so much experience, and he's the guy that he's caught a lot of balls, and he was kind of like that calming factor, knew where to line up, kind of told guys what was going on. He was the veteran in the room. And if you think about the way our offense is going right now, the way Phil can keep things alive and scramble and throw the ball, I got a feeling he would have had a ton of production. Now, in return, I think you're starting to see some of the younger guys grow because they're getting experience. I mean, you look at Jelani and CJ. Obviously, Jalen and Zay, they've been talked about a lot because, they've had some 100-yard games. But you look at Jelani and the steps that he's taken and CJ, those guys deserve a lot of credit and probably, are getting some more playing time because of the injury. But, man, we'd love to have Kobe right now. I mean, I think this guy would be lighting it up. You picture him on some of these scrambles with his experience, popping open, catching the ball and running, or, with the way Phil can throw with timing and rhythm, him on some of these intermediate routes. I mean, I get fired up just thinking about it.
I'm just curious, has he said anything to you about, like, man, like, I wish, just looking at the offense now, like, man, I wish I could have been out there, or, like what he could have done if he had been out there? I'm just curious.
I'm sure he thinks it, right? I mean, you're seeing us throw the ball at a rate that hasn't happened around here in a while. So I'm sure he's kind of, looking forward to what the future might bring for him. I think, truthfully, Julian, right now, anybody watching our offense, if you're a wide receiver, whether you're a recruiter or someone from another team, you're probably looking at our offense right now and saying, man, I'd love to play receiver for those guys. Got this young quarterback in there slinging it,
We'll go to Kevin.
Coach, after postgame the other night, you said you couldn't wait to get back in practice. I'm just wondering, obviously you never like to lose, but is it almost better off to be able to come in on a day like today and kind of reboot that energy and kind of reset things a little bit?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I couldn't wait to get back on the field this morning just to, start moving forward and getting our guys back on the field and trying to do our best to get them better. Obviously, we got back so late Sunday, like 4 a.m, and we met with them a little bit Sunday, and Monday's their off day. So to get them back out here, it helps us all. And the cool part about this team, Kevin, is you wouldn't have known if we had won by 50 or lost the way we did. They come out and they work, and that just shows me their buy-in and what we're trying to build, because it is, like I've said many times, it's about the process. And if you just get so overwhelmed with the result and you change who you are and you let circumstance change you, then you're going to have a team that comes out pouty and doesn't practice hard. But the process is right. And I know we didn't play well enough, but I'm very confident in the process, and we're going to get better.
We'll go to Dan.
Coach, Georgia Tech used to be triple option, and then they obviously went away from that when they brought in the new coaching staff. I know it's not necessarily as drastic, but you've undergone a shift with BC where it was a power run, all the power running game, and now there's a lot of pass and spread elements. How difficult or how challenging is it to change over an offense, number one? And is it a part where you have to transition it, or do you rip the Band-Aid off and say, this is our playbook and this is the way we have to play?
Well, we got to do what we have to do, right? It's, we play a style of defense that we know, and we play a style of offense that our coaches know, and we're going to run it. And that's why I hired those guys. Is the transition hard? Yeah. A lot of these kids have never done any of this. And is it harder because we really didn't have a spring ball in a training camp? Yeah. And that's why I think what you're going to see, Dan, you're going to see progress. And, I think you'll see stuff start to click. Like, I believe the run game will start to click, and I believe we'll get better throwing the football. But offense is about reps. It's about experience. It's about gelling. And, year one, we need to lay the foundation of what it's going to look like. And I do believe our staff is doing a nice job with that on both sides of the ball.
Go to Rich.
Hi, Coach. Does Jeff Sims do some of the things that Hendon Hooker did for Virginia Tech the other night? And just kind of talk about what he brings to the Georgia Tech offense.
Yeah, he does, Rich. Sims is a good player. He can run it. He's got a really strong arm, and it's pretty impressive that he's a freshman. What I think you're going to see, I think between him and the back, I think you're going to see two guys grow in the ACC and become two of the best. And I mean that. And I know you'll probably see some learning mistakes, just like anybody their first year doing anything, but yeah, he'll break some runs. They'll run the quarterback just like we saw last week. I'm sure that's what we're going to get since we put on tape that they had success doing it. So we'll have to have a better plan and change some things up. And he can throw the ball too. But he is going to be a dynamic football player. they got a good one. They did. Like I said, Coach Collins did a nice job recruiting those two guys in his first class, and they're going to have success with those two players.
Go back to Dan.
Coach, I saw a video probably about an hour ago from practice that gets posted about like the tackling drills that I think the linebackers were going through. How do you stress tackling? Like, is it individualized per position group, per guy? Do you want bigger guys to tackle a certain way? Do you want or is it just uniform the way you go through drills to teach them how to tackle?
Well, we have a system and we drill it, and based on what position you're in, the tackle is going to be different. If you're in a tight phone booth and you put your shoulder pad through the guy's sternum and you wrap and drive, if you're not in position to do that, you might have to wrap and roll. So we teach a progression, Dan, and we drill it, and we drilled it today, and we have drilled it. I think we're tackling too high, truthfully, and I tell you that because that's what I see on tape. So we need to coach it better. We need to tackle lower. And how we've done it in practice, we've actually done live tackling since probably the first week on. We've tackled live every day. We'll get ball carriers and we'll tackle them to the ground. So it's not for a lack of we think you can't have contact or for a lack of trying. But clearly we're not coaching it good enough because it's not showing up well enough the last game. I thought we've been a good tackling team up until then. So today we just kept emphasizing our pad level and getting lower on guys.
And just one on top of that, from position to position, are there different things that get stressed by different coaches just based on like you want a lineman to tackle one way or you want a linebacker to tackle some way different?
Well, no, the system's built on really where you are, because if you're a D lineman and you're in tight quarters, there's a certain way you want to tackle. But what if a D line's in the open field chasing a quarterback? It's the same thing as if a DB would be in the open field, right? Just like if a DB is in a close quarter tackle, he's got to understand, he's got to have a profile tackle and put his shoulder pad through the guy's sternum. But then what if the DB's in the open field, right? Then he might have to wrap and roll. So tackling is one of the things that, Dan, is probably, we could talk about it for hours, and it's probably the most important thing in a game. And I know you love to talk fundamentals, so you usually ask these good questions. But man, it's an art, and it takes time. And hopefully we'll be better than we were the last time, and we're certainly going to coach it better.
We'll go to Julian.
I was just curious too, with the rushing yards, right? How much of that do you attribute to just the tackling, or do you attribute it to something else?
From the rushing yards we gave up the last week,
Mm-hmm.
I think we missed 26 tackles. And if you tally up how many times we had the guy in the backfield, and then how many yards after that, it's not a very pretty number. So I attribute him to both. We're going to coach better, and we're going to get multiple people to the football and make it easier for our players. But at the same time, if we have a guy stopped in the backfield, I think any one of our players would tell you on the team, we have to finish and take the guy through the ground.
And do you see last week as just kind of a isolated thing, or is it something that you wanted to monitor or had been monitoring and saying, hey, we got to kind of.
We look at it every week, Julian. We have a goal of how many tackles that is okay to miss, because look, they got good players too. So we're hard on tackling, and I don't think it's for a lack of missing anything. Clearly we didn't do it well enough in the last game, so I'm not going to make an excuse for that. But I thought we tackled. I think we've tackled really well this season. But it's my job to figure out why we didn't on Saturday, to get a better scheme, maybe get more people to the ball, and obviously we got to coach it better too.
Go back to Rich.
Just looking at the stat sheet, those two linebackers they have look pretty active. What have you seen from them?
Good players. Obviously I've watched more of the offense up to this point. But like I said, I believe it's number 6 in the middle. Seems to have a really good head for the football, good instincts, seems to line people up. So I think they're really good players. And like I said, Coach Thacker does a really nice job. They create, they shift a lot, they move a lot, they overload, they pressure. They bring guys down in the box. They'll do some middle close defense just from looking at them quickly. They got good players on that side of the ball.
Go back to Dan.
Coach, I don't know if you've noticed or if you care. I guess I'm just wondering for my own purposes. But Big Ten's back this week. I know have you noticed anything? Are you excited to see Ohio State get back out there? And not only that, but just to see more teams get out and play some more football.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Big Ten to play. Obviously I have a lot of friends coaching, a lot of friends on that staff. And, I'm just happy for those players, more importantly, who've been sitting and waiting and watching, and guys that I coached last year on that defense and guys that I know on that offense. I'm excited for them to play, really excited. And they deserve to play, and I'm glad it worked out for them. And I'm fired up to cheer them on.
Go to Julian.
I meant to ask Jason. I wasn't sure. How did the test results come back from Tech? And was that situation was that travel situation any different, or were you more attentive about protocols because that program had kind of gone through its issues with it?
Our test results were good again.
Congratulations,
Jason. Right? I'm safe to say that we were good again.
Yes.
Again, it's remarkable. Julian, we believe in the protocols that we have. So, that's one thing we won't let slip. That there's no way. It's a constant reminder. I think the doctors and trainers have put together a great plan, and whether we're going to Virginia or to somewhere else, we're going to do it the same because we believe in the system that they put in place for us.